Hello, everypony. Today is Tuesday, February 14th, 2012, and Hearts and Hooves Day, and this is the Pastel Pony Podcast. I'm your host, Vos de Sueños. I got some stuff for you today. I got a friendship report and some news, and even a daily moment of smile. Now, in addition to that stuff, I have to mention right off the bat there is no chat log this week because I was working during the episode. So, I will try to give you a slightly more extended recap of my personal thoughts on it, but we'll see. Now, first off, I wanted to mention that some bronies needed a little bit of help with their stories. Some need pre-editors, that's a word. Some need pre-readers, and some actually need full-on editors. Now, if you would like to help, send me a message, and I will let them know. Some of the stories are long, and some of them are not. They're cool guys. It's good stuff. They need help. Let me know. Now, I'm going to try a couple of things today with the posting of stuff. It is my hope that I can get you guys downloadable MP3s right now. I'm going to try today with these episodes, and we'll see whether or not that works, because I have no idea whether or not it will. Now, I realized that the voting, I think, was probably last Saturday, but I still want to cover this. ACTA is essentially the European version of SOPA, where the laws are very different and they can get away with going through stuff like this. Any way you can, try to oppose these things. We all know how bad SOPA was, and we don't want to see it happen again. Obviously, if it manages to pass in Europe, we'll end up seeing it again in the US. And those of you who are in the US, or rather aren't in the US, remember, a lot of the content from the community comes from America. Comes from the United States, rather. And if ACTA passes, I am fully willing to believe that they'll find a way to pass something similar here in the States. On to more happy things. I wanted to mention that Command Spry came out with a new song, Magician's Mind, and it got featured on Equestria Daily. You should check that out. I'll put a link in the description. And Mr. E380 has been writing very brief, kind of hilarious little chapters for Daring Do. So if you want to see that. Now, I also wanted to mention, for those of you who haven't seen, we're getting toys in the fall. Awesome, awesome toys. They're bringing us Lyra and Trixie and other things. There's even a vinyl scratch. That's right. That DJ is coming home with me. So is Lyra. Probably others. I'm gonna spend way too much money. Check it out. If you haven't seen the pictures yet, they look awesome. Now, this week we have a friendship report. That reminds me. Remember, I'm not writing these because I don't have time right now. And I don't learn many lessons about friendship in a given week, which is vaguely depressing, but you know. But this week's letter comes to us from Mr. E380. Dear Bronies, I learned that love sucks. I'm not saying that love is fake or is not real, but just that love sucks. With the whole love day coming up, most singles are out there not too happy, me included. And instead of hiding in my corner and crying with a forever alone face, I found other bronies who are also single. They helped me through my depression, and I can help them out too with their depression. Love sucks, love hurts, and sometimes there is no greater feeling than love. But you don't have to be in a relationship to be happy. Just be with a group of people who are your friends and have a good time. If you can't find love, then love will find you. Just need to give it a little time. Shadow. And that is perfectly apt for today. I could not agree more. I'm going to make plans for tonight somehow so that I'm not sitting in my house recording all day, which I probably will be anyways. Speaking of which, now that we're past most of the news and stuff, I am going to be recording more for an Equestrian Invasion today because it will honestly be easier for me to voice those last few characters than anything else. Still working on getting a gal for Luna, but have a couple of leads. Really hoping that one of them finally works out, but that being said, I also wanted to say that this week's and next week's episodes, oh my. Today, Tomorrow, and Forever. Why do you guys like such sad stories? Anyways, Today, Tomorrow, and Forever and Six Angry Mares are probably some of the best ones that I've done thus far. I was a lot more into the acting than I have been in a couple of the less recent ones. I mean, I feel like I I give every recording my all, but some of them just resonate better with me than others do. And Today, Tomorrow, and Forever and Six Angry Mares definitely did. So you get Today, Tomorrow, and Forever today, and next week you get Six Angry Mares, which is long. It's so long. I haven't edited it yet, but it's an hour and a half right now. Holy crap, that's going to take forever. But that being said, it'll be totally worth it because it is such a good story, as was Today, Tomorrow, and Forever. For the next one, for She Will Be Loved, I have not decided how I'm going to do that yet, but because of how long it is, I can almost guarantee I will not be doing the whole thing at once. I will try to let you know what I'm doing about that later, probably next week, next podcast. Again, as far as an equestrian invasion is concerned, I'm really not that far away from finishing. I just need one or two voices that aren't mine. That's all I need, and some sound effects. I ought to try to finish some music too today. I'm just kind of ranting at this point, so I'll wrap it up. The Daily Moment of Smile is something that some of you will recognize, but most of you probably won't. It's just a loop, but I find it hilarious because I know that I remember the Saturday Night Live that they're talking about. It's based on Night at the Roxbury, which later became a movie. I think it's Chris Kattan and Will Ferrell. And it just made me smile. I hope it makes you smile too. There actually are things for the review this week. Oh my goodness, folks, I actually had time to start reading things again. Soon my little enterprise will be over, and soon I'll be done with Fallout Equestria, and then I'll actually have time to read things that aren't those. One of the fics that caught my attention this week was Hex Ong Songs, which is probably mispronounced, but I don't care. It's an intro chapter about Vinyl Scratch, and how she's this awesome DJ, but then she smacks her forehead on the record table halfway through a show and goes on this trippy adventure involving Discord and the others, but then when she wakes up, the main six are all around her trying to make sure that she's okay, and a piece of Discord's horn is just hanging out. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. Also, Serial Velocity, one of the guys who helps run Equestria Daily, posted a fic this week, and I've never read any of his stuff, and I have been meaning to, especially because he's got those awesome Equestrian Innovations videos, so I assumed that he could be a fairly good writer, and he is. He started something that is essentially what I would take to be the beginning of a really epic sci-fi fic. It's called A Dying Breed, and I'm not exactly positive what's going on, but what I assume to be happening is Celestia is either dying or dead, and it is causing serious issues with magic for all the other unicorns, because apparently that power comes from her. What they're trying to do is siphon magic from other stars or something. It's really cool. I hope that he keeps writing that, because I'm interested to see where that goes. It's also making me want to write other things, possibly more My Little Enterprise, but I need to finish Season 1 first and take a break from that for a while. Now, as for what I'm thinking next week, not sure yet. It's been a while since I did most of the regular stories that have continued updating. I haven't done a chapter of Past Sins in over a month. I haven't done a chapter of So Long or anything else. I may hold off on She Will Be Loved for a week or two, but I'm not sure yet. Also, the way that my schedule has worked out for when I'm going to Chicago in a couple weeks, I may not have to take a hiatus. I may be able to get an episode up, but I'm not sure yet. So, there might be a week without an episode. There probably won't be because Fos is incapable of taking breaks. Finally, spoilers, let's get to... Oh, before I do that, yes, the video that went up last night, bored. I was bored, and it was fun. And you shouldn't take it as an episode or anything serious. It's just what it is. It's fun stuff. Spoiler time! So I don't have much to say this week because I don't have the chat log, but at the very least, I can give you my thoughts. I love the Cutie Mark Crusaders. I love them so much. I love their innocence and occasional stupidity and their exuberant energy. There were a lot of awesome inside jokes, and I have that note written, but I don't remember what it means. I feel like there was a lot of little things here and there that the episode hinted at that were meant mostly for us to catch them, that little kids really aren't going to catch. Something that I noticed right off the bat that people wanted to make sure that I caught. Thank you for that, because I would have been really, really sad if I'd missed this. At around 3 minutes 30 seconds, when it pans out to that very first wide shot of Ponyville, the Doctor and Derpy are together, and someone mentioned that this might imply that she's his very special sun pony. I thought that it was a great lesson. I think that that's definitely something that children eventually do learn, that they really can't meddle in love affairs with other people. That just, it doesn't lead to good things. And people have free will, and you have to remember that you're not the only person out there. When you're driving and another car cuts you off, you have to remember that it's not the car that cut you off. Somebody else is in a hurry or trying to get off the exit, and there's actually a person in that car, and their life probably sucks too. We don't often think about things like that. We don't often think, if we fall in love with someone, we don't often think about their feelings towards that whole situation. So I thought this episode had a particularly good and sort of mature lesson that, it would be hard to catch for a child or really understand. And finally, the last thing that I loved so much about this episode was something that really gets me into a series or a comic is the facial expressions. I have been reading Garfield daily since I was probably 10. And part of it was because of a comic way, way back, long before I ever started reading, because I had the books for a while, of Garfield eating a bunch of garlic and then breathing onto John's face and his hair curling out and looking like a mummified zombie. And ever since then, I've sort of looked for really good expressive face work from the animators and artists in series. And this episode just had so much of that. Especially Sweetie Belle's face. And all the voice cracking, and there wasn't anything truly special about this episode, but at the same time, it's also one of the better episodes of the season, in my opinion. So, I'm going to stop ranting and get to work on other voicing things and edit this so that I can get everything posted a little early for once. So, have a good one, guys. I hope you have somebody special to spend it with, whether or not they're your very special someone. Have a good day, have a good night, have a good week. I'll see you next week. This is Vos de Sueños signing off. Safe travels, everybody. Normally I don't add anything after the episode, but I just saw something. I think you need to see this. You need to see it right now. It's even better than the Daily Moment of Smile, so I'm replacing the Daily Moment of Smile. That could be the Daily Moment of Ridiculous now. This is the Daily Moment of Smile. Go watch it. It's a fan animation. It's amazing. Pumpkin pie, chicken pot pie, pizza pie. Yes.